Well, here's an interesting story. Interesting exclusive here.
The Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.
Here we go. Season 6 is out. Netflix, of course. We're talking about Ralph Macchio and Cobra Kai. So, Ralph, it's an honor to have you here for so many thousands of reasons. I don't even know where to start.
Thousands. Okay, start with 997. Yeah.
I mean, talk about an era of, 1984, of course, is when Karate Kid came out. Then also The Outsiders, and of course, My Cousin Vinny.
Right.
But of course, celebrating this incredible season of Cobra Kai, which unfortunately is the last season, which has a lot of people kind of mad.
Well,
I don't know.
Well, listen, it's the first drop of 3 drops of this final season, meaning 5 episodes are out now live on Netflix,
Right.
and then in November 15th, another 5 will drop, and then in 2025. That date is being determined, will be the big finale that, it's going to be fan service, fan friendly, what you want, but how you get there, you have no idea. And there's a whole lot of karate soap opera before that.
Whoa.
So it's kind of, it feels to me like the right time to bring in the Cobra Kai proper plane for a landing. But to me, it's not goodbye forever. It's I'll see you next time, because this Karate Kid universe somehow, some way, for 40 plus years, the fans won't let it go. But for now, this is the final. That's my optimistic view of the end of this chapter.
Okay, well, it sounds like this is going to happen.
Wow.
So we're good.
Yeah.
And I do want to do a reach around in a second and go back 40 years and bring us up to date.
Let's do it.
Up to date. Why is it? In the old days, we had seasons, just regular seasons.
Right.
The season would happen, it'd be over, then another season would happen. Now it's a season, but it has, in this case, 3 seasons in a season.
Right. It's unique. I can explain why.
Was doing it. A lot of people, Yellowstone did it, and a lot of people are doing it. What is there some significance behind doing it this way that we need to learn about? That you can teach us?
I think in this case, it was driven by the actors and writers' strikes, because we could not get. We usually do a 10-episode. Drop, which is commonplace now, 8-10 episodes. I mean, we grew up, it's 22 episodes. They come on after Labor Day and end before Memorial Day, and that was a TV season, right? Mm-hmm. Nowadays, it's either one-off seasons or 8 to 10 episodes. So we were initially, the first 5 seasons were always 10 episodes. And so we needed more than that, but they felt that 6 seasons was time, so they gave us 15 episodes. And the strikes led us to not be able to have them all ready in time for the first drop. So there's my short answer to your very simple question.
It seems to be working. I mean, it's all good.
It is working. It keeps the party going a little bit longer, which is kind of nice.
Okay, let's go back to 1984 when the original Karate Kid came out, and that was an era which a lot of people these days love to reach back. Mm-hmm. And suck into the present and be a part of it again. I mean, you could look at a lot of music, New Kids on the Block later in the 80s and whatever. Now they're out there doing cruises, and they're and a lot.
That's next.
Oh yeah, the Karate Kid cruise would be awesome.
Karate Kid cruise.
The Karate Kid cruise.
Oh my God,
that's it.
We know some people. We can make that
I'm
happen.
sure you can.
But I don't know if you remember. You do, but. Cobra Kai was originally like a YouTube thing.
Yeah, it was on YouTube Red, and which became YouTube Premium, and then was mandated out of the scripted format by Google, who owns YouTube, because they just weren't. It just wasn't working for them to do scripted content, and then the pandemic hit, and we had 10 episodes with no place to go, and. We wound up selling to Netflix, which is where we intended the show to be from the onset. It's just that YouTube was in a place at that time where they were trying to get into that game, and they bought it not sight unseen. We pitched it, but with not a page written, and they just bought 10 episodes out of the gate, where everyone else wanted to develop it. So they kind of played the only card they had, and credit them. For allowing the show to be the vision of what these writers had, not be over micromanaged by whatever mothership would. They were like, whatever you want, we just need the show.
Well, thank God it happened that way.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
So it all kind of happened perfectly by happenstance, and every COVID surge was another release of a season.
And I find that
so the numbers were
that timing is very interesting.
Right,
Yes.
yeah. The powers that be.
Yes, it's all part of my master plan.
There it is. You should see what Rob has planned for avian flu.
Oh.
But it's interesting how, especially during COVID, we found here on our show, because we worked all through COVID, we were on every day, people wanted to hear music from their past.
Right.
They wanted
it was comfort.
They wanted total comfort, and I'm sure that Cobra Kai actually
I think it
played
served
into
that purpose. It really is. It's like comfort food. It's the best meal your grandmother used to make that you haven't had and you get to taste again. You know, it's the burger from your childhood that you just can't find today.
Right.
So it just becomes that.
Well, then The Outsiders is now on Broadway.
Yeah, and the best musical. And
My Cousin Vinny. Do we have a My Cousin Vinny Broadway show?
I know. I think, and there is a Karate Kid musical in the works.
Really?
Written by. Really, they come up. They're leaning forward, everyone. Yes, I saw the workshop. They are workshopping it. It is Robert Mark Heyman, who wrote the original film, has done the book for it, and they are so. There can be a day that I walk down the Great White Way and see 2 or possibly 3 movies flipped into a Broadway show. But The Outsiders is really, they've done a beautiful job with that. So listen, IP is big these days. If you have something that people know, it helps bring them to the onset of the party. The problem is so much stuff is being retreaded and without careful thought on how to reimagine, like Cobra Kai was able to do, like they were able to do with The Outsiders on Broadway, and then you have a lot of missed targets. But I got lucky once or twice.
Well, there's more than luck going on here.
Yeah, you make your own luck. I do agree with that.
Also, you actually directed one of these episodes within the series of
third one.
series of series that are out this year.
Yeah, it's just the first 5 of it, and I directed episode 3 of this new season, which was of Cobra Kai, which was awesome.
Is this? I mean, have you ever directed before?
I've directed short films and some commercial stuff, but this was a nice full narrative, and working with the actors was just, there's a shorthand. There's a reason why a lot of actors make good directors. The process of creating, building, collaborating. The shorthand of how to get from point A to point B, as opposed to, okay, I wrote this, now do that, so I really enjoyed that, and they delivered on all cylinders, and I'm, excited and looking forward to doing more if it presents itself,
Just turning us on, this is Ralph Macchio. Of course, it's part 1 of season 6 on Netflix of course, Cobra Kai. Let's do it. I know Danielle and Gandhi are itching to get in here because we're all just kind of crazy that you're here today, by the way. Do you hear that a lot? I mean,
not around my house, but out in the world, there's like you mentioned, a couple of those movies, Outsiders, Vinny, Karate Kid. There is a warm embrace from those entities. They with the Outsiders, it's the book as well as the movie, and Karate Kid has been a part of people's childhoods. So I kind of represent maybe the guy next door. I try to bring that forth anyway, so I have you all fooled.
See, that was my question. My question was, do you have people running up to you on the street just hugging you and wanting to hug you? Because
and
there's
crying,
a couple,
actually.
Yeah, when there's a couple people from Cobra Kai, I'd like to punch in the street.
Right.
But
Well,
not just,
Yeah, no, for the most part, it's a pretty warm embrace. And but the cool thing now is I'm having 8 and 10-year-old kids. They're like, so the thing is now, hey, don't you play the dad on my favorite show? I said, yeah, that's me. I play the dad on your favorite show.
We'll take it.
But I'll take it, man, all day long.
You get hugs, but do people? I mean, William Johnny, of course, such a convincing evil a-hole.
No, but he's so lovely. I mean, listen, arguably now people love his character more than mine. We
back in the day,
flipped it back and forth.
But back in the day in Karate Kid, he was the most hated guy.
ultimate dick and everything.
Exactly. we had a soap opera actor on one time. She was at the grocery store and she played this evil wench on One Life to Live, whatever. A lady picked up a frozen turkey and threw it at her head.
Yeah, that hasn't happened yet.
Well, I know, but how convincing she was as,
That's right.
as a character.
That's right. Yeah, listen, William Zabka, his work, back then when he was the ultimate jerk in every movie, is a credit to him as an actor, as you see him in Cobra Kai and how he's peeled the onion layers off this guy.
Well, thanks to Cobra Kai, now we know why he was a total
Yeah,
dick.
that's right, exactly.
Yeah,
We spent 5 seasons explaining it.
So you guys got lucky or unlucky that it came out sort of at the same time as a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
How is it filming when you guys are that close, like in combat scenes, and you have stunt people
That was
during
tough.
the pandemic?
That was really difficult. We shot season 4 and 5 virtually back to back. That's when Netflix took over the show. Those were the first 2 seasons at Netflix, because the first 3 were done for YouTube, even though Netflix released season 3. You need a roadmap. But anyway, I'll stop talking about all the confusing stuff. But yeah, we were, face shields, masks, trying to, work out these scenes, COVID testing 3-4 times a week, cycled in every other day. And that's we only had to shut down for 1 week over those 20 episodes, which is almost a full year of filming. So credit that, but it was challenging,
Spraying each other on the set.
Yeah, it was just.
And then throughout all of this time, some karate has to have seeped into your life in some capacity. Do you feel like you know enough that if someone started some crap with you out on the street, you could take them?
Wow.
It's been 40 years.
It's been 40 years.
Question.
If you're doing something for 40 years, you better be pretty good at it.
I want to believe it.
I'll still try to verbally negotiate myself out of it.
Reason with them?
Is that a part of karate?
But that's part of it. Fighting always last answer to problem, right? Isn't that a Miyagi-ism?
Yes.
I might be able to block a few, but then it's about getting out.
You're not the highest belt that they have? You haven't gotten like the highest belt?
The highest belt? Well, here's an interesting story. Interesting exclusive here. So when I did the film, and I was done getting my ass kicked by William Zabka, I said, well, thank God I never have to see that guy again. And here we are 40 years later, and he's like my best friend.
Hey, bestie.
I stayed with martial arts a little bit, and now years later, having done 6 seasons of the show and sort of understanding how the katas and all those kind of routines are good for you at 60, blah, blah, blah. I won't say it out loud. I just did. It's now become part of my life, and I worked with the sensei and the stunt coordinators to advance myself more in the Goju style of Okinawan classic Miyagi style karate.
Wow.
So I think there's more coming for me, just even personally going forward, whether I'm doing another, if I'm going to be throwing kicks for the rest of my life, but it takes a little bit more of a warm-up these days.
Okay, that's fair. Back in 1984 when Karate Kid came out, you saw a lot of karate studios opening up.
And bonsai tree stands, the kiosks in every mall.
Yeah.
I think people started eating more sushi.
Yeah, that's right.
I started karate because of you.
Right.
And
Oh,
so
God.
this one right here.
Oh,
If
my
I
God.
had a dollar.
Every strip center in America had a karate
That's
center
right.
in it. Right?
10-year-old me is fanboying right now
That's
because
right.
you inspired me to take karate. And I didn't get past knowing the first
Yeah.
or second kata and maybe a yellow belt.
Right. Like
But that was it.
like eggshell, off-white. That's kind of where.
But everyone was doing karate because of you.
It's crazy. It's crazy
You
because of
only
me,
get $1
and
for
I'm just a
everyone.
kid. If I was just a kid who got the part, don't blame them. Don't kill the messenger.
Well, okay, so now we have something else we got to talk about. Karate Kid, the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so I'm going to make some assumptions and ask some questions. I know your answer is going to be, I can't say. Well, we'll find out together. But here we go anyway. Karate Kid, the movie, it's coming out in, next year, 2025. Right?
May 30th right now.
Oh, we have a date. Look at that. So Cobra Kai will have been done.
Yes.
So will it have any connection to Cobra Kai, or is it a continuation of Karate Kid? I mean, I'm trying to put the pieces together.
Well, we
What
gotta
can
keep
you
you
do?
guessing. I'll give you what I can.
Okay.
I'll talk from the perspective of Daniel LaRusso, my character. It is a continuation. It is him after the events of Cobra Kai. I have, threaded through elements that are in the season of Cobra Kai for my character that pays forward into the new movie.
Okay.
Okay, so
You're giving us a lot, by the way.
As far as does the Cobra Kai story end and then it picks up as the movie, it is its own ecosystem in the solar system of the Karate Kid universe. How's that? I did take tap dancing lessons, and
I see that.
You did.
and I am damn good at it, even without moving my feet.
So Ralph just told us a lot without saying anything.
Yeah.
Which is
No, but it's good.
you
Listen,
should be an attorney.
I mentioned this before when I was doing the junket for Cobra Kai. I've always honestly tried to play the truth and be genuine to the Daniel Russo character from 1983 through Cobra Kai, even with its heightened zaniness, and into the movie. And as long as I can play the genuine truth of what would motivate that character and pay it forward, then I'm true to the legacy of the whole thing, and that's how I look at it. And that is the plan, and we'll see together.
Season 6 Cobra Kai, of course, on Netflix. Ralph Macchio here. Before we leave, as an actor, as a working actor,
well, I'm not on anything right now.
Not yet.
Wait,
I said that for 7 straight years, and now it's kind of like, okay, what's next?
Well, I kind of wanted to go back to that.
Go ahead.
You're on this path, every working actor's path is unique. What is yours? What has this path meant for you as an actor, as a man, as a husband, as everything? Like, where are you in your world, and what has this done for you and opened up for you?
That's a
that
good
you're very
question.
Grateful for?
Because I am. It is unique what has happened for me with Cobra Kai and this sort of resurgence. I mean, it's never gone away because the fans would never let it go away. But as far as bringing, Cobra Kai is a show that honestly, when I say unique, you have 4 generations on the couch watching. You have a 10-year-old, you have a 30-year-old, you have a 50-year-old, and a 7-year-old, all getting something from something we did back in 1983. And that's something, it's hard to even put into words how humbling that is and how grateful I am to have that, to sort of run into, whether it's a 12-year-old kid or someone in their 60s, and you somehow bring joy to their life in a good way in a world that is not always so joyful. So I kind of embrace that, where maybe 10, 20 years ago I wouldn't have, or you just as life gets shorter, that stuff means more. So I really take that. I don't take that for granted, and that's kind of inspired me to, okay, so what's next? What other work can I do outside of this? I mean, obviously the last chunk of years, it's been Daniel Russo every way, shape, or form and medium. So I want to stick the landing there and keep the door open, but yet find other ways to inspire myself creatively, tell stories moving forward, whether it's behind the camera, in front of the camera, or theater or anything else, and just use all that goodwill going forward. It's paying it forward, kind of how I look at it. I mean, it's insane what's happened. A movie of that time that's the #1 show on Netflix as this airs. Crazy.
Wow. I love it. And I love, too, that it seems like from what you said, got to a point where instead of being sick of Daniel LaRusso, you started to embrace Daniel LaRusso. What was the moment that happened? Was it with Cobra Kai, or was it before that?
I've never, listen, there were times in the industry when they say, someone would come up with their idea for a Karate Kid sequel or reboot or whatever. And I wrote a book called Waxing on the Karate Kid and Me, which I'll do my own self-plug, was made the New York Times bestseller list. And it is all these stories. It is stories of all the bad pitches I've heard over the years. And there were times I rolled my eyes to the whole thing, and it just felt, once Pat Morita passed away, it was like, how do you go back to this? Because that was the secret sauce. That was the magic in that movie. So when did it turn for me? From the fan base, I never looked at it as, oh, not again. I've never been one of those actors like, he won't talk about that. That doesn't make any sense, because it means so much to the fans. So to say, I'm going to tell you that the baby you think is beautiful is actually kind of ugly, and we want to talk about my new project. I'd like to talk about both. So I've never done that, but there were certainly chunks of time where I would try to navigate around just talking about that. Hence, what have I been doing for the last 20 minutes? But, you know, I'm promoting a show, and people love it, and that's a great thing, you know. So, you know, there was a chunk of time, I would say maybe the late 90s, early 2000s, where it was like, I'm not going to go on iHeartRadio and talk about that. I don't have to convince anyone I was in that movie, you know. And now it's, you know, the gift that keeps on giving. So that's life and wisdom, I think.
Well, Ralph, thank you for coming in today.
Oh, it was awesome. Awesome.
Congratulations
Thank you,
on all of the above.
Thank you, man. This is
And,
great.
Can't wait to see you in My Cousin Vinny on
The
Broadway.
musical.
And the cruise. Don't forget the cruise.
And the show-stopping number, I Shot the Clerk.
Of course,
or would it
season
be, or is it, what's the other, yeah, I guess I Shot the Clerk.
a song about the two Utes.
The two Utes. Right. Right.
Fred Gwynn, what an amazing guy.
That was his last performance.
Was it really?
Yeah. He was,
Herman Munster, man.
that's what, I mean, that's what Joe would say. He goes, I don't know, Herman Munster? I don't know. And I said, well, but just looking at you two, it's amazing, you know, just physically. And I said, and, you can't say Herman Munster, otherwise you're going to say the Karate Kid and the Wise Guy.
The Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.